right, welcome to the studio once again, and we will be talking about Jonathan. Since Jonathan came into the fore, APC have used many ways to describe him. Oh, he didn't perform, he's the best person for Asiwaju to face and be sure of re-election come 2021. At some point, they said, Jonathan, you are a very good gentleman. It's not the best thing for you to just enjoy your retirement. We have once discussed in this forum that APC has truly been running helter-skelter in one form or the other. Now, they are sending Tompolo to appeal to Jonathan in one way or the other to support Asiwaju and have him complete his second tenure. I would think naturally that if you want democracy to falter and you have found a weak opponent, you would even encourage that weak opponent to run. Is Jonathan a weak opponent?
Thank you very much. A good question. If Jonathan is a weak opponent or not, and the current strategy of the APC using Tompolo to reach out to Jonathan to appeal or to coerce him, or whichever way you want to put it, to say he shouldn't run. Having said in the past that Jonathan is the weakest opponent they could face. So, like rightly pointed out, if he's the weakest opponent, why all this, overture to him not to run? Because we have heard the APC in Lagos saying that Jonathan shouldn't listen to those who are encouraging to run. Those are his enemy. He should sit back and enjoy his retirement. Wike has said so. And now Tompolo. Now the question before us, who is Tompolo? And why Tompolo? Now, I take your mind back to in the days of the turbulent in the creeks, where what they call themselves that time,
Med.
And Tompolo is one of the
Movement of Emancipation for Niger Delta.
Yes, Tompolo is one of their commanders, and that in 2009, Jonathan became the vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and this was the high point of Med activity in the Niger Delta Creek. And Jonathan, having come from the Niger Delta, having been Joma himself, I think sincerely, he had advised Yara, being a man of wisdom, agree with him that they should reach out to the men in the creek. And Jonathan reached out to them, and Jonathan brought in Tompolo to town, and they strike a deal. And that was the moment the name Tompolo became, a national name. They do not just discuss with him; they find a way of taking him out of the creek and make him to take up legitimate jobs. I'm very much aware that Minister of Niger Delta gave you so much job to even develop his own place, and that was the time they also gave the Nigerian Maritime University. They put it in his community so that they can. And Tompolo was saddled with the responsibility of actually taking up the building of all the structure there, if not all, majority of the structure. These are ways, designed by the Jonathan government, Musa government there, to ensure that peace reigns in the creek, and to ensure that Tompolo became a man who, whether you like it or not, yes, they were fighting for freedom of their people, trying to say that, okay, the oil is in our backyard, we can't see anything. But in the eyes of the government, they were depriving the government revenue by that, and their action in the eyes of the law was criminal, but they didn't want to treat them as such. Jonathan helped to free, Tompolo from the claw of the law. Now, the question, why Tompolo? Now, after Jonathan election, when the APC came aboard, Jonathan became the presidential candidate of the PDP, while the APC presented Buhari, and Jonathan loses. Tompolo, they were among those people who said, no Jonathan, no Nigeria. But Jonathan said, my ambitions do not want the single drop of any Nigerians at that time. And he threw in the towel, and Tompolo was declared wanted. Again, a sitting vice president of Sibajo also went to the creek and struck a deal with Tompolo after Tompolo had been declared wanted by the Buhari administration. And that's how Tompolo now finds his way into the APC, and the APC is today. So one wonder, why would Tompolo want Jonathan not to run? Because today, Tompolo is very prominent in this government. Tompolo is one of the first person to declare support and roll out the drums and the microphone and money to campaign for Tinubu re-election. If you go around Airport Road and the whole of Abuja, you will see billboard, flyers,
door-to-door campaign.
Door-to-door campaign is being sponsored by Tompolo. The reason it's not far-fetched because it's feeding fat from the APC government, and we also heard that he has been given oil block and all of that. So Tompolo, that was once an activist, is a person who want the poor in the creek to survive, is now a bourgeois. He's singing a different song.
All right, let me come to you on this. In 2015 election, Orubebese will not take it. Tompolo and the rest wanted Jonathan to continue, and Jonathan still had his way. Like that said, it means he's a man that has his own mind. So irrespective of what people around him wanted, he said, no, my ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. And he followed through until recent time, or maybe until maybe close to any election, they will begin to doubt how Jonathan is going to run. Now, my strong question here is this subjugation of intellectual authorities, so to say, or educated authorities, so to say, to what you might call warlords, or I wouldn't use the word togre because in some form they are fighting for a just cause. Subjugation of the mandate of the people to the control of certain persons who, if you put on this table, they are not going to be able to marshal out what Nigeria means and how to even govern Nigeria, determining who should run and not run. I mean, this idea of rewarding people's violent act in some form with authority and money, and such that they begin to become the factor that determine who rules, in a terrain or territory or whatever. I mean, is that what we should be going for?
Okay, I will first.
You see some motor parks. When Asiwaju became president, we had somebody threatening people in Lagos that if you don't vote for Asiwaju, he will kill you.
Have they stopped?
So why things like that?
Okay, so I'll first of all ask you, the main agitation, have they met their mark? Movement for the emancipation of Niger Delta, have they achieved their? The Niger Delta region, has it changed? This is a rhetoric question. Let's keep it aside.
Yeah.
Now, someone like Tompolo now coming up determining who should rule and who should not rule, is that not an aberration? An aberration in a country where the most educated and the knowledgeable people in America, foreigners,
and
right?
Nigerians.
And Nigerians.
The most educated set of immigrants
and Nigerians in America. They let Indians, they let Pakistanis, they said Nigerians. Now, if people that took up arms against the government that is now being recognized, I told you off camera, I said what we have now gotten is that kings are walking on foot and
servants are
on horseback. How can they make laws for us that will take us to the next stage of life? Never. It's not going to happen until the people during the French Revolution, the mob came up and took the government. And they took the government, they didn't know what to do with the government because they were not meant to rule. Of course, the technocrats too had to come back. Of course, they have killed the president. Now, if someone of Tompolo, I don't undermine his person.
No, certainly.
But everybody,
and also do not undermine his fight.
No,
and the purpose.
I don't
the only one you query whether those purpose has now been
achieved. Were they for selfish reasons? Now, what reason are they telling Jonathan not to run? And I asked you, I said, America, you told me America is too far. Ghana
is close. Yeah, John Mahama was out of the office and he came back. Trump was out and he came back a lot of places.
Those are long, just a few weeks ago, Malawi.
Exactly. Malawi just a few weeks ago. Yeah. Now, what we are saying is this. What is the reason that they are advising Jonathan not to run?
Is it in the best interest of Nigeria?
Of Nigerians. Look, Jonathan gave Almajiri schools to the north. Jonathan brought a lot of universities that we have.
The railroad connecting Abuja to Kaduna.
He did it. From Itape to
better election results. He did it.
Jonathan appointed a man as INEC chairman that he had never met.
The third fastest growing economy in the whole world.
Jonathan.
The biggest economy in Africa.
Jonathan. We are not campaigning for Jonathan.
Certainly.
But we want a country where light is on as we are coming back. Jonathan brought together a bundle of people that were intellects.
All right, let's go. Could it be that Tompolo, in the wisdom of continuity and stability, would want Asiwaju to continue, since both Asiwaju checks the common box that is very of high interest to the North? That common box is one more term. A lot of Northerners appear to be okay with one more Southern term, but anything beyond that, they are not going to take it, no matter your performance. And the two persons that quickly check this box that are in the front now, by 2027, will be Asiwaju himself having just one term and Jonathan having just one more term. Do you think that continuity in some form, whether in personal interest of Tompolo or in the interest of the nation, let's not discard it, could be the reason for Jonathan, for Tompolo to not to tell Jonathan not to run?
You see, that is not the interest. It is very clear. It's for his personal interest. Whether you like it or not, today Tompolo is doing serious business with the government. One, Tompolo is also known to be doing personal business with Tinubu. You know, there are a lot of issues, around the corner. The question is, if Tompolo, as it were, was fighting for the freedom, for the emancipation of the Niger Delta people, what it means that he wants freedom for all. Can Tompolo beat his chest to say that Nigerians are enjoying, are Nigerians free from hunger, are Nigerians free from poverty, are Nigerians free from unemployment, are Nigerians free from poor infrastructure? If he can conveniently answer those questions in the affirmative, in his heart, then he should go ahead. But again, the truth remains that Tompolo had done what he did, or what to Jonathan, is because his interest, he felt, whether it is Jonathan or it's Tinubu, his interest is protected. But it will be better for him to just continue with Tinubu, so that there will be no truncation, because when Jonathan comes in, fresh interest will come in. But as it is today, his interest is already known to Tinubu, and it remains so. If Jonathan come on board, this is my thinking, there will be other people who will also be interested, that may want to have the same interest with Tompolo, that maybe Jonathan will not say, okay, Jonathan is a man of peace, say, okay, let's balance it. And that is what he's fighting against. It's not fighting for the interest of the common man or for Nigeria. It's the appeal Tompolo made is a very selfish appeal, irrespective of the fact that Jonathan is his brother. This appeal is one of the most selfish appeal I've ever seen in recent time.
Okay, we talked about continuity. Ordinarily, Tompolo is an German like Jonathan. If Jonathan is the president, in some form he's going to benefit, and if Asiwaju is the president, he's going to benefit. But what troubles Nigeria is more than Tompolo. It's actually more than Asiwaju himself as an individual, because Nigerians are faced with a lot of issues. They've tested Goodluck Jonathan. They know who he is. They've tested Asiwaju. They know who he is. The issue we described a while ago, such scenarios, we were not seeing it under Jonathan. We were not seeing that, actually. We can't deny that. So, and, when Nigerians are now calling for, Gage said it, that each time I hear them say, Gage, come back, tears come out of my eyes. 2027, will he still be crying? Or he will say, no, let me come and answer this call?
Well, it should not be crying, or he will not be crying. I think the best thing to do is to come back and answer the call. You see, at a particular point in our life, we stop living for ourselves. We start living for the cause to which we want to live. I can ask you today, there are clothes you have that you've not worn for 6 months.
Yeah.
So what's close to you?
Nothing.
Now, at your age, there are food you are running from.
Exactly.
Maggi, salt.
Exactly.
You listen to everybody. every WhatsApp message that come up. Things you do not. They are not your doctors. Now, the few time we lived, Methuselah lived 900 something years. It was not still enough.
Yes.
The time we have to live is to impact other people with our lives. You've traveled wide and far. You've seen that these people build cities that people are envious of?
Yeah.
Are we envious of any city? So that's why we are looking for Messiah in our country. Everybody that has the right to come and govern well, we need them at this point. Listen, this fight is not against Tinubu. That's what people should know. Neither is it against the Yoruba race.
No.
And you know, I've always said it. We are first of all Nigerian before we are Yoruba.
Yeah.
I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah.
For example, do you know, let me tell you something. Do you know naming a child after 7 days is not a Nigerian culture?
No, it's not.
It's a Yoruba culture. It's a Yoruba culture. But as Nigerians, we've all imbibed it. That means I have gotten some from Philip,
Yeah.
I've gotten some from you. It makes us better. I mean, I eat a lot of wena, that's masa. It's not my cultural food.
Yeah, it's because you're hungry.
It's because we also imbibed it from the north.
Yeah.
The same way people eat amala. You see an Hausa man today.
Yeah.
He's eating amala as if amala didn't originate from the north.
Yeah.
It's from the southwest. Now, we are better together. The development of our country is what is very paramount to all of us. So if that call comes to you to come so that could make Nigeria better, I think you hit the call.
All right. I think what he's trying to say is Jonathan's immediate constituency is no longer south-south, no southeast or southwest. It's the entire Nigeria. Not essentially even the north. Is the entire Nigeria. Like we said, the north political equation of going for Jonathan may not necessarily be for betterment of Nigeria or not. It could be, no doubt. But the principal one is that he has just one more tenure to serve. So it's a political balance. But that balance is not going to be possible if we leave the final balance. The final balance is Jonathan can't run under APC. And all the opposition parties as it is today appear to be in turmoil. The only ones not in turmoil are the ones that they have not pointed, or no newspaper or blog has said, oh, Peter B or Jonathan will run through this party. If today any blog, whether recognized or not, says Jonathan will run on Boot Party, or Jonathan will run on Young Progressive whatever, or Jonathan will run on Zenith Labour Party, before 1 week from that blog post, you will see 3-4 persons under any camera that will have suspended the national chairman. We are now the new chairman. You see this nonsense everywhere, creating what they call faction everywhere. If this continue, where will Jonathan run from? Our law does not, as of today, accept or authorize or allow independent candidacy.
Yes, you see, that is why the opposition is what it is today. It's very fluid, especially when it has to do with the candidature or the aspiration or the interest of Jonathan and Obi. When you talk about Jonathan, Obi is, though he's a member of the Labour Party, nobody is sure where he's going to run. The reason is not too far, it's before us. Just yesterday in Channel Television, the news was awards that the SDP national chairman has been suspended. The same people who are purported to have suspended the national chairman 4-5 months ago are the same people suspending the national chairman. The same people who claim that they are state chairman that supported the suspension, they are the same publication. So you can see that there's a system failure in this country. So if Jonathan wants to run the way it appears to be, it is better for him to keep his party to his chest. Like you said, if by chance he made it known to A and it gets to the ears of the government, you can be rest assured that party will not be in existence in the next 72 hours. So these are the things that are happening in this country. The country is gradually edging into a one-party state because the people, the men and women who claim to be politicians, they are lily liver. They don't have heart. That's why Peter said there's only one man that is left, that there's no politician that is clean in this country, including those who are in power today. But only one man, even though he's not clean, is able to stand up to say, look, I am not with you, and I damn any constituency, whatever you want to do to me. And they have not been able to do anything to him. And that is Malaya Rufai. So if Jonathan and Obi want to run, I plead with them to keep their platform to their chest. Because the men and Nigerians, like Jonathan has said before that he was betrayed, they can easily be betrayed by the party men.
All right, I made mention of independent candidacy before. Could be hope for that the bill before National Assembly, we don't have it here, that has passed second reading. That's the amendment of the Electoral Act 2022. One of the clause there is about allowing independent candidature. You know, currently is not allowed. Maybe we'll talk about that when we come back. Just 30 seconds break and we'll continue with this discussion.
We need to.
All right, welcome back. I was talking to you about independent candidature, you know, being allowed in the next what is it called, Electoral Act. You know that they are going to be amending and hopefully pass. They still have the time. If you look back to what happened in the 2022, but with the National Assembly we have today, I'm worried they might miss certain clause that, you know, will make people to say, oh, we wanted this clause, but we don't want this clause. They will not say, okay, if you don't want this clause, we'll have to abandon the whole process. If we get to that point and for some reason we're able to get to where it is now allowed for independent candidacy to fly, and Jonathan decides to run, would you encourage him to go that route or pick any of these political parties?
Okay, so the independent candidate slot is very dicey. It's not sacrosanct to only Jonathan alone. He's not the only one that can take that spot. And we may now also have a lot of
barrages of it.
Thank you. You know, so and with the time frame we have, there are a lot of things to settle that are upscale in that Electoral Act that we want more than the independent. I think it's good to keep our focus. Electronic transmission of results
yes.
is
that's just what Nigerians want.
That's what Nigerians want. So I don't.
And mind you, Nigerians are now saying that since all we thought in 2022 that we achieved in the Electoral Act was electronic transmission of results,
yes.
Before the Supreme Court people that are wiser than all of us. So he said it was something that, so now they're telling us that it's not just electronic transmission of results, real-time electronic transmission of results visible to Nigerians
and used as a yardstick,
at a platform. It must be stated clearly like that before some judges will now come and tell us that their words are finer than what we fought for in 2022. We didn't know what we fought
because they came up and said that is to use to monitor their
to verify
their cake one. How can you using the read?
That was not what we fought Buhari,
my brother.
Over 23 CSO.
It's only
fought for that. Okay, let's get to Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso in before 2023 election was seen as being the strength that would have galvanized obedience of that time to something that they already achieved. As a matter of fact, if you look at the candidacy of Barack Obama and Biden of those days, Biden has spent decades in the Senate.
The first time in the Senate was 1974.
Yes, somebody that got to the Senate 1974, and Obama was just a rookie in the Senate, and
junior
senator for that matter of Illinois. So pairing two of them was like bringing a small boy at the front, then somebody have all the strength. But what robs Kwankwaso of that arrangement was that between me and Peter B, who was bigger, who is more educated, who is older, who did this more, and when we got to the field, more separated itself. Now Kwankwaso is coming out to say he's ready to work with Peter B, he's ready to work with just about any other person. He's even ready to work with Asiwaju. NNPP as a party is just almost in shambles too, just like any other opposition parties. Let us not give only that to them. What is it? Was it mathematical error? How do I call it? Political error that made Kwankwaso not to look beyond himself and look to what gain and that synergy would have given to them in 2023.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have blamed him much because there was a narrative then that he has a cult-like followership. Obi has Kwankwaso movement, and even people argue that he will win majority of northern states And some people will argue that Obi might not even win his own state, Anambra.
They say he won't win his local government.
See, so those narrative, embolden him. So if I be certified that I can win the whole North, you that not even guaranteed your state, why would I be second ticket? Why would I be under you?
So, okay, no. One, considering the fact that although Kwankwaso can be held in that regard like Atiku, considering the fact that a fellow Fulani person just finished 8 years of his presidency, there are many tribes in Nigeria, even though this name Nigeria came to meet us. All those tribes were already existing. You did not expect that the Fulani man will continue from where Buhari stopped. We are not yet, they were not that mature. The country needs that some level of stability. That was enough to say, okay, let me be a VP to somebody from a zone that has not even tested the presidency since this democracy started in 1999.
Yeah, that makes sense. But remember, our own president too ordained somebody from the north. Then the late Buhari, then the then Senate president as his candidate.
Yeah, but we're talking about Kwankwaso
which he later denied. So there were issues everywhere. Atiku did not allow it in the PDP. So he felt that since the power that be APC would Buhari have decided on the northern and PDP with Atiku running, why won't I run? If other things didn't happen, probably he wouldn't have gone to run. And he believed with the political platform that was existing that he could run and win. And it didn't turn out well for him. But let me come to you. For him to decide he is willing to join every person, for me, it sounds like a man that is confused. Why did I say that? You said that this is going to be one of the toughest elections ever had in Nigeria because of the political climate. Why is it going to be the toughest election? Because this government has not delivered. And the same you said you are really willing to go into partnership with them. You're indecisive. You don't know what you want.
All right, Kisley,
you don't know what you want.
Kwankwaso is ready to work with Tinubu. Is ready to work with P2B. Is ready to work with even Atiku. I mean, there's no ideology in that.
Okay, from the publication,
yes,
he didn't mention Tinubu. He said that Tinubu must be ousted.
Okay.
Yes, that one is there.
Okay.
But you know,
he has been meeting with Tinubu.
He has been meeting with Tinubu.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
So it looks as if that way is not profiting him.
Because if you remember, the last time we had the national chairman of NNPP here, yes, Dr. Ajuju, he said there are options available on the table. So yes, one is to join APC. Exactly. Another one is to do it all alone. The other one is to work with coalition.
So now he has removed Tinubu because it looks as if he's not going down well with them. Because on several occasions he has gone to Aso Rock to meet with Tinubu. Now this is it. Now why is the reason all of a sudden you want to join the coalition, or you want to join OP, or you want to join Atiku, or you want to join Goodluck Jonathan? Now they all have their own calculations, which they use to undermine every other person that is there.
Yeah.
Jonathan has a term that he can he can go.
Yeah, legally.
Jonathan has a traction in the north.
Anywhere,
but basically in the north. That has,
mind you, let me draw attention to this. When Jonathan lost the election the last time, he lost to a northern candidate, and the margin wasn't much. And Buhari was the most ferocious northern candidate
at the particular time. Nobody has gotten the traction Buhari has.
Nobody has gotten the traction Buhari. And Jonathan didn't lose much, let alone Jonathan now running against southern candidate. The whole north are going to work
with him. Now, don't also forget that at that particular time too, Jonathan losing the election, there were so many other factors.
Certainly.
And because of those factors, Jonathan said, my blood is not worth the life of any
yeah.
Now, what we are saying, he's calculating that if from these ones Jonathan comes out, Obi is not going to run. Right?
So now,
2031, I can get that. Listen, he will not run with coalition when Atiku wants to be the president. I can tell you that he will not run. And you're the one that said that talking to you is for free.
Let me read what he said. He said the former Kano governor also declared his party's willingness. So
that's what the writer was writing.
With who? With the political forces, including President Bola Tinubu.
No, that's what the writer was reporting. But that's what the writer was reporting. But that's not the words of his mouth.
No, being who he is, I think he wants to form alliance with whoever is available.
No, what did he say about calculation? No, there's something he said.
Politics about calculation. If his calculation tells him that if I come to Tinubu, I could be guaranteed 31. As you said, I agree. I consider to you, it might not be this election.
Yes.
No, if
he goes into alliance with Tinubu,
that's also what I was going to come to.
Also acknowledge that this government has made sure Nigerians are poor.
Can I tell you the truth?
For these are politicians.
Can I tell you the truth? The outcome of this government is not as important to any politician as their ambition.
No, definitely.
That I can tell.
No, definitely.
For free. So now, and where Peter was coming from is that even joining Tinubu also guaranteed that his 2031 election.
Yes.
He needs to be in the main fold. In the main fold. But now let's look at it. Kwankwaso now running Helter Skelter. Somebody that was of a main block, Kwankwasia. Is Kwankwasia still in that?
Yeah, it's not as powerful as it used to be. And you should know that NNPP has two factions now.
NNPP?
Yes, which one is still represented? I don't know the one that expelled him and suspended his governor. So he now needs where he will nest. He needs a platform where he will at least achieve his aim, his admission. He is a politician. And they're not used to sitting outside politics, outside office. So he's willing to bargain and deal with whoever that will offer him what he wants. Kwankwaso movement in Kano was like the traction was high. But today, people in Kano will tell you it is not what it used to. Now, so you need to go into alliance with somebody.
Let's talk about trust.
Yes.
No matter how you look at it, Kwankwaso and Tinubu are very close. They were governors at the same time.
The first time, he lost the second one.
Yeah, he lost the second one. I know where Shekarau came in, and he later now came back, which is almost what Jonathan is trying to do. These things are very common.
So why are they advising Jonathan to come back? If you have seen governors come back, like Kwankwaso, why are they advising Jonathan
Trump
to come
came back. John Mahama came back. Just in Malawi the other day. So it's common. Now, let's look at issues of trust. People know how close Kwankwaso and the current president is.
Yes.
You think Jonathan will work with Kwankwaso closely? Or P2P will work with Kwankwaso closely? Or even Amechi will work with Kwankwaso closely? Or let's just say, if for any reason the North wants to run, or Atiku will work with Kwankwaso closely? When they know how close. As a matter of fact, on Tinubu just being winning election, he met with Kwankwaso in London.
Yes. And Kwankwaso issued a statement that this is the best president.
So they are close. So how did Kwankwaso come up to the conclusion that these people will work with me?
If you talk about issue of closeness when it comes to politics, it almost doesn't exist. How close would anybody be close to Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu like Rauf Aregbesola?
But who is working with Rauf Aregbesola?
No, that's what I'm saying.
But that's also what people have against the APC.
Yeah, exactly. But it's around working with
where you can't be too sure. The other day, a national legal advisor to PDP, who was here yesterday, told us that sometimes they used to send somebody to contest in another to go to another party. Yes, you can't be too sure. There's no empirical statement or verification that Rauf Aregbesola is not working for us.
Let's work with what we are seeing from the outside.
Yes.
Do you understand? The one they say the one that are revealed are for us and our children. The one that are not revealed is for God and His
yeah, but we can't also conclude on that because they are not revealed to us.
No, I say we are working with it.
Yes.
So what we are saying is that this man has become a political prostitute.
What do you mean by this man? Who?
That's Kwankwaso. He has become a political prostitute. Look, let me tell you something. There was no way in this country Kwankwasia movement was going to take over this country. That was so easy.
Sectional.
The section that is just between Kano State and Jigawa, they couldn't even win the governor of Jigawa State. As close as the proxy as Jigawa is, they couldn't even win that. And let me tell you something, that Kwankwasia movement is already falling, the pack is falling, even in Kano State. That's not what we know in a modern Nigeria. What's Kwankwasia? Who is Kwankwasia? What ideologies? Even the Aminu Kano that had a lot of sway, he had an ideology, a political ideology. He was a little bit of Marxist in his approach to politics. Now, what was his own approach to politics? He said we want a place where our children can be educated and all that. He was Minister of Defense for 4 years. What did he do? He was governor for 8 years.
Well, but we have records of Kwankwaso establishing, what do I call it, scholarship and training people. He has that record, no doubt. I think the best in Kano.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is that the position of a governor? Is that what the governor should be
That's
doing?
a fraction of it. I agree with you completely. That's fraction. And also, like he said, philosophy-wise, what is Kwankwaso's relevance to any of the known? People are going to jump into the fray, but the known one, what is Kwankwaso's relevance? For example, now, if you see Erifai standing with Tobi, Erifai is standing that the presidency must go to the south. He didn't mince words about that. He left the APC because APC has become a one-man show. PDP has been struggling with NEC, meet and not meet. APC, they don't even meet at all. That is why Erifai left. So Erifai has that philosophy of where he stands when it comes to that. When you talk about P2B, you talk about frugality, not wasting money, using money, expeditiously, and also value for money use. But when it comes to Kwankwaso, you're just driving in numbers, and the numbers are now just very, very localized to Kano and maybe Jigawa.
To be fair and sincere to him, then in Kano, if you talk about grassroots, his mantra is that
but talking about being a president of Nigeria,
those in the grassroots should make to have a better life. We should care about them. We should think about them. We should invest in them. That's why then in Kano, all his small outside guys, he was when he pushed them to businesses people were doing.
Okay.
He somehow created this micro finances.
So do you think Kwankwaso is going to find his base with any? It's becoming clear to me that he can't do it alone. He has accepted. Do you think he's going to find his base with any of these major politicians?
Yes.
Let me call them out. Asiwaju himself, Atiku, P2B, Amechi, Goodluck Jonathan. These are the ones at the forefront at this time. That's my comment.
He spoke about their common interest. It depends on what he's demanding.
You think he's going to find a base with any of them?
He could, but it depends on what he's
looking for. You think he's going to find a base?
I think he will find a base with Goodluck Jonathan.
He's going to find a base.
And I think if they politically calculate very well, Goodluck Jonathan should work with Kwankwaso. Okay. My own political forecast.
All right. They think Kwankwaso stand a chance of working with somebody. Now he's humble now. He wants to work with somebody. He doesn't need to be the president. We'll continue with this discussion when we'll come back.